Welcome to the Best Things Podcast. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Don't forget to follow us on all the socials at Best Things Pod as well. Now, here are your hosts, Craig and Aaron.
Hello, Internet. Welcome to the Best Things Podcast. My name, Craig. His name, Aaron. Welcome into the show, everybody.
We just leaving out letters and words?
A little bit. Did I leave anything out important?
This reminds me of an Office episode.
Really?
Where
Why are we both doing that?
I don't know. Kevin decided it would save time to just leave word out when saying thing.
It does sometimes. I mean, it doesn't hurt.
Does it?
No. Okay, true confession. For those that are watching on YouTube, I think for this next episode, we're going to have to turn that monitor off. So we hooked our camera set up, and we have a monitor right here, and I keep catching ourselves on the screen. And so if you're watching online on YouTube, you're going to see me occasionally glance over. That's what I'm looking at. Sorry. I'm a little bit. Does that make me like vain, like self-satisfying, like looking? Because it looks like I'm looking at you, but I'm really
you're looking up there. What I like better than that, though, are these new chairs.
Yeah, we got swivel chairs.
We can swivel where we can like turn and look at each other now. Yeah. So,
yay for upgrades. Who was it? You had somebody tell you that they couldn't listen anymore, they couldn't watch because of our paneling one day was off.
They said that they saw one of our video clips. They don't watch it. They don't watch the full episode.
Yeah. They
just saw one of our clips, and something in the background on the wall bothered them, and they said, I can't even listen to it anymore now because that was crooked on the wall.
And you know what we tell you, you know, these chairs, I mean, obviously they're nice that they swivel. They're the cheapest chairs in the world because like you got to hook us up. Like you got to help us out with, you know, this stuff is all cheap. Like we're cheapskates because this is not our full-time gig. So, you know, if that bothers you that much, there's a button in our description, link in bio on website. You can become a paid subscriber and help fund the podcast. And you can help personally fix this problem if it's a problem for you. How do you like that? How's that for a plug?
I like them apples.
I tell you what, if you do the paid subscriber thing, we'll give you a mug for free just for doing that. So shout out. Okay, today's episode, by the way, it's officially the Christmas season now. Now it's officially the Christmas season.
No, it has been the Christmas season.
Now it is. So we are here. Thanksgiving.
I'm glad that you finally joined the rest of us.
Thanksgiving is behind us. We're in the Christmas season, and it's a time for desserts. And this episode really came from an episode, I don't even know how many weeks ago that we did, where we talked about, what were we talking about that we brought up cakes and pie? Oh, smells. It was during the smells episode. We got to talking about how, you know, cake smells and pie smells. And you said something on that episode that said that you think pies are better than cake.
Valid.
And I disagreed because I didn't think so. Well, we're going to go out of order a little bit today.
Oh.
Yeah. So, shocker. We're not going to script. Instead, we're going to start out by listening to some of your feedback because your feedback helped spur this conversation on, okay? So let's dive into it.
We love hearing you talk about us. It's time for the best things about the best things. Want to hear your feedback on the show? Email feedback@bestthingspod.com or tap the link in the episode notes to send a voicemail.
Okay, you heard the lady. Go give us your feedback. We love your feedback. Some of our episodes come from your feedback, and we've got some good ones here. So we put some stuff out on social media. Which one's better, cake or pie? Aaron, what do you think the people went with?
I think they went with pie.
You do?
I do.
Well, it turns out the people are also split.
Really?
They are. So over on YouTube, on TikTok, Mr. Pivot BB says birthday cake, retirement cake, enough said. So obviously there's more occasions. I think he was commenting, or he or whoever was commenting on your fact that there is,
It's a pie season. It's not a cake season.
And those are moments for cake. Cake has its days. Cake has its due also.
There was the episode of The Office where Creed wanted birthday pie. He wanted peach pie.
I mean, yeah, people can have that. Speaking of that, over on YouTube, at J_5612 says, yeah, but imagine having a birthday pie, and then lots of laughing emojis. Like, that was a ridiculous thing. It's a ridiculous notion. But then SWVCH, Svitch, on YouTube says, pie all day. Cake kind of sucks unless it's dummy moist. Sorry. You're going to hear that word a lot today, by the way, moist.
Now, he said what now?
He says pie all day.
Okay.
So he agrees with you. Pie all day. Cake sucks unless it's like ridiculously moist.
Okay, yeah. What was his name?
Svitch.
Art. Oh,
That one was Svitch.
Svitch. Svitch. I agree with that. I think a cake needs to be ultra moist.
But I think there are circumstances where cake doesn't have to be moist.
A dry cake is like eating a dessert.
It depends on the icing you have.
But here's what my wife said, and she is the definitive sweet expert. I mean, she would rather eat dessert as to eat regular food if she had the option.
Yeah.
And she said, I used to disagree with you that cake was better than pie, but now I have decided that pie is better than cake because what I have learned is that I just like the icing, not so much the cake.
Oh, okay.
And if
that's interesting.
If the icing, the frosting, the covering of the cake is what people like the most, then,
okay,
cake sucks.
Well, let's get into it. We've got a long debate ahead of us, and let's just go into it.
Before we can figure out the best thing, we have to talk about all the things. It's time for the thing about the things.
Okay. So, more feedback that we got from you guys not that long ago was, hey, Craig and Aaron, we noticed you guys are using other people's lists a lot. We kind of liked it when you did your own lists also. So we are nothing if we're not flexible, and we're here for the people. And so
we like to take a poll, put our finger in the wind, see which way it's going.
At 100%. I re-listened to that episode this week, and
so did I.
It cracked me up.
It was hilarious.
I could not believe how many times I said that in what was it, the smells episode?
Did you count them?
I did not count them. I probably should have.
Should.
But yeah, so we want to hear. So let us know. This is the kind of feedback we're talking about. So sometimes we'll go back to the list. Sometimes we're going to make our own. This week we're making our own lists. So we have the Pie Man over here and the Cake Daddy right here. All right, and so we've kind of taken our own sides and we've come up with our own lists of the best pies in your opinion. And the best cakes, in my opinion, or a list of all of them. There are so many also. Can you believe how many? I don't know if you ran into this because cakes are probably better. So there's so many.
I think there are more varieties of cake than there are varieties of pies.
Oh, we're going to go.
I mean, I could be wrong.
I think you're wrong on that. I'm going to let you go first, though, okay? So this is pie versus cake. And at the end, when we bracket this out, if you're new to the podcast, we bracket things out every week. And so this week, he's going to pick his top 4 pies. I'm going to take my top 4 cakes, and we're going to put them head to head and see what we come up with.
And at the end, whatever wins this,
yes,
then faces ribeye steak. I just want to remind you again,
which is a 3-time winner. And again, we mentioned this at the end of the cookies run. Like, we could have easily stacked the deck against cookies. We could easily stack the deck against steak. Steak has a tough road to go. Like, it's been easy the first few weeks, Okay, but like it is cakes and pies now. Like we're getting close to Christmas season. Like there's some heavy hitters in Steak's way if it wants to make it 5 straight. I'm just putting that out there too. I don't think it's guaranteed yet.
Since you are always so good at guessing numbers, I have a number that I want you to start with today, okay?
I don't want to do this. I don't want to. I'm the worst at this, but we're going to go.
This is according to the American Pie Council, so this is very official.
Okay.
This is like boop, research, right? How many pies are sold each year in grocery stores alone?
Pies?
Pies. Yeah, because I'm starting out to talk about pies.
That's right. And you're talking just store-bought pies.
Store-bought pies, grocery store pies. How many
I think more people are making their pie than buying it.
Okay.
Nationwide in a year?
Yep. Each year in grocery stores.
So this is gross total, not by individual? I'm just making sure I get my numbers right here.
I don't know. I have that one sentence for you.
Repeat the question then.
According to the American Pie Council, about blank pies are sold each year in grocery stores alone.
Okay. So that tells me gross total each year. I'm going to guess...
Do they hear the music too?
They hear the music.
Okay,
yes. All right. It helps fill the awkward silence of me doing math in my head. I'm going to guess 6.5 million.
You did not let me down.
Really?
You did not.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, I'm so on brand that I didn't let you down?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. You did not let me down. In that you are widely inaccurate here.
Okay.
But it's in the opposite direction this time.
Really?
Normally you shoot for the moon and miss it by, a galaxy.
Saturn.
Yeah. 186 million pies sold each year in grocery stores.
Wow.
186.
That's a lot more than 6.5.
It is. By 180 million. That's a lot of pies.
That is a lot of pie.
Okay. I think it's important that we determine here in the very beginning,
Okay.
what is a pie, what is a cake.
Because there is some gray area here, right? And there's one thing specifically that to me is gray, is a gray area. I've got it on my list.
It's probably on my list too.
Okay.
And I think
I see definitions there.
I
so
think there are two
Go
things.
for it.
You want me to give you the definition for both of them?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. This is from dictionary.com.
Before we dive into the specifics,
Yeah.
we might as well clarify everything.
A pie is defined as a baked good in a pastry-lined pan or dish that has fruit, meat, pudding, or other filling.
Okay.
Often also has a pastry crust on top. So this is a crust.
Okay, so it's a crust sandwich then. It needs to be...
Yep.
Well, hold on.
Hold on what?
Okay, you're saying it needs a crust on top?
No.
Oh, okay.
It has a bottom crust.
Yes.
And sometimes
Okay,
also has a
sometimes. Okay,
crust
okay.
on top.
Yeah, okay.
And we are staying in the sweet realm of pies today, right? We're not talking savory pie, savory cakes.
I mean, you talk about...
we can talk about any kind of pie.
I mean,
Okay.
what savory cakes are there?
Just another reason why pies are better.
Other than this beefcake here.
Again, point pie.
I don't know about
Savory
that.
pie. Do you want to eat a savory cake?
I don't want to eat... I hardly ever want to eat a savory pie, though, either.
Pot pie is amazing.
It's fine.
Kidney pie. I mean, I don't want to eat kidney pie, but there is such a thing as kidney pie.
Every time me and Lauren watch the Great British Bake Off or baking show, depending where you are, every time they're making... I mean, we get all amped up to watch this baking show and watch these sweet desserts and stuff like that, and they end up making like a chicken liver pie, and we're like, okay, this is not what I wanted to see.
What is a cake? A cake, according to dictionary.com, is a sweet, baked, bread-like food made with or without shortening and usually contains flour, sugar, baking powder, eggs, and liquid flavoring. Unlike pies, cakes have sweetness built into the definition.
Right.
And instead of fruit, meat, or pudding, cakes are defined by ingredients like flour, sugar, eggs. Cakes also lack the pastry crust on top.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that would be kind of weird to have a crust on top of a cake.
It would be. But don't you think? Okay, you mentioned that cakes can be dry.
Yep.
Do you not think pie crust can also be extremely dry? I have had some dry pie crusts in my day. Now the filling is great, but it's like the crust of a pizza. By the time you get to the edge, sometimes I skip it because it's so dry when some people make it, or grocery stores specifically.
So what I would say, an argument to that point, is that what I'm going to say is that when you... I'm trying to...
This sounds like Miss South Carolina from 10 years ago. Whereas such as the children.
No. When you're eating and it's a pie, you get to the end of it and you decide to leave the crust.
Yeah.
That is, this one little small area.
Right.
It didn't affect the rest of your enjoyment on the initial part of the pie eating.
Filling helped the crust out?
No, I'm saying that there's no filling when you get to that last edge of the crust. And if you're not a big crust person and you might leave that bite behind if you think it's too dry or something, you've only left that one portion uneaten. On a cake, though, a dry cake is going to be a problem from the very first bite.
Disagree, because you have icing or you have dipability.
No, you're going to choke.
You can't dip a pie.
You can, sir. I almost sent you last night because I was thinking about this. I sent you some food pictures.
You did.
There was one because you're the king of dipping.
I like the
you're
dip, yeah.
you're the king dipper.
I've never been called the
You're
king
the
of
dipper
anything,
king.
but okay, I'll take it.
Okay. There was a dude with his cup of milk and a slice of pizza pie dunking.
I have heard about that, not in milk, but in Coke. I've heard of people doing that in Coke before.
So don't tell me that you can't dip pie. And if you like biscotti, why couldn't you dunk the crust into your coffee?
Okay. First off, how dare you? Real quick behind the scenes for just a second. So if you're listening to the audio version of this, you probably know what happened. But if you're watching on video, you noticed maybe a weird kind of cut there and like a shift in our tone in conversation. It's because our battery died on our camera. Dummy Craig had forgotten to plug it back in after we messed with something earlier. So anyway, we were in the middle of a conversation though about dunking crust, and
right.
I will say that is a good point, and I will give you I'll give you props on that one because I did not think of that, but it can be done. Yes, you're right.
Okay. So before I let you have it back to talk about cake, I actually want to talk about a specific pie to open this with.
Okay.
And that is peanut butter pie.
It's so good.
I know.
It is really good.
I want to lead with a heavy hitter. I want to go right at you because your request for your special dessert at Thanksgiving each year, you ask for?
It varies from year to year.
Okay.
But peanut butter pie is always a contender in my mind, yes.
Right. How many times is a cake a contender?
Okay.
The
only reason it's not, and I actually thought about going cake this year, but cakes are, they're a group activity. They're large. They're
no, you can get a small cake pan.
You can. You're correct. And I may do that this year. Or I may have done that by the time y'all listen to this. I just realized you're listening to this after Thanksgiving. We're recording before Thanksgiving.
We're in the future also.
Yeah. Is that Berbiglia?
Berbiglia, yes.
Berbiglia. But yeah, okay. You're hitting me early. You're getting some good left hooks in there.
Left.
Let me use the right.
According to Eat This, Not That. We have issues with them a lot of times. Yeah. Sometimes they have good information. Most of the time, it's health related. This one is health related, okay?
Of course.
They say peanut butter pie is the absolute worst pie that anybody can eat for your health.
For health?
For health.
So that means it's really good.
Here's what they say. You could literally down 14 mini peanut butter cups and still not take in as many calories as fat in one slice of peanut butter pie.
And another reason, ditch the pie. Ditch pie for your health, ladies and gentlemen. I implore you.
I think that peanut butter pie is one of those pies when I go to a cafe, a restaurant, if they're known supposedly for their pie game, I want to try their peanut butter pie. I judge places hard off of how good their peanut butter pie is because I think that it's arguably the best pie that exists.
I do think these swivel chairs make us more debatey.
It does.
I feel like we're getting after it. Now I will give you credit on this because most diners they're known for their pie game, not their cake game. I will give you that. Pies are more on the menu. They're in the shelf. They're yada yada yada. Most places you get some coffee and a slice of pie. You're typically not doing that with cake, but I've got a rebuttal for that too a little bit later when we get into cakes.
Okay, all right, good. So peanut butter pie. That's my first pie. We're
going to alternate.
Yeah, let's alternate.
Okay. So I want to talk layered pie.
I love layered pies. I'd call that lasagna.
Layered cakes for just a second. Okay. Now these are going to be your most well-known versions of cakes for the most part. This is a round cake. Can be a sheet cake or a square cake also. But then you've got cake, frosting, more cake, frosting, and as many layers as you want to.
So the frosting's having to do the heavy lifting.
Frosting, that's an important part of it. Just in the same way the filling is an important part of the pie.
Okay, what kind of maniac's sitting down to just eat a crust?
Okay, nobody.
You have to have filling in a pie.
You got to have icing on a layered cake.
I disagree.
On a layered cake, yes.
Yes,
you
on
need
a layered
frosting
cake.
or jam, yeah. Not all of these cakes have to have frosting, no. But it's important for a lot of these to have something else to go with it because you're right. Even the best cake, over a little bit of time, the frosting needs to help out a little bit. That's part of the dish. I'm just saying, it's part of the dish. So you've got your layered cakes. There's a reason they serve wedding cake because it's a joyous thing. Cakes bring people together. Cake is that tells you there's a party. There is something special going on. Somebody's retiring. Somebody's having a baby shower. Somebody's having a wedding. Somebody's having this or that or the other. Cakes bring people together. And the most popular kind is a layered cake. You've got all different kinds of flavors. You can go chocolate, vanilla, yellow cake, okay? You can switch up the game a little bit. You can change the flavor of the cake and mix and match with the flavors of the frostings. You've got devil's food, which I've got fun facts to go with these two, sir.
Okay. All right. Good.
Devil's food, type of sponge cake made with egg whites, flour, and sugar. A whipping agent such as cream of tartar is commonly added. Okay.
I love tartar sauce with my fish, too.
Different kind of tartar. You got red velvet cake, which is a truly American thing. It is a form of chocolate cake. Somebody asked, I think it was Lauren, asked me, "Is like, what? I don't know that I really have a lot of red velvet. What is red velvet? Is there blood in it?" She didn't say that. But like, what is red velvet? Well, red velvet's just chocolate cake. Okay?
Yes.
It's just chocolate cake. It's got the red coloring of red velvet cake comes from beetroot juice.
Yep.
To color the cake. I'm sure a lot of people are just using red food coloring now. It originated in the Northeast, becomes more common dessert in the South. You've also got German chocolate cake. You've got, like I said, you can mix and match your different flavors.
I was talking to a friend last week who told me, and I feel like this is sort of a maniac thing to do, but he told me that he does not like cake with frosting on it. That if he's going to eat cake, it needs no frosting. He just wants the cake alone.
Wow.
I think that's a major flaw for your side.
Why?
For the reason I said a minute ago. You've never heard anybody say, "Hey, can I have a piece of pie? Hold the filling."
Well,
let me eat a slice of crust.
In the same way, you're not going to have somebody say, "I want a burger. I just want the patty." Like, I mean, this is a dish. It's something. I mean, you're going to make a lemon meringue pie, right? What's an important part of lemon meringue pie?
Lemon.
The meringue.
Oh.
Like, you need that on there to call it a lemon, and then you can just make a lemon pie, but like it's different.
I prefer lemon pie without the meringue.
So like I think that argument to me is invalid just because like it's part of it. It doesn't matter if it helps it out or not. If you rely on it, it's part of it. It's the whole thing coming together. Now, I feel like we need to both say this to our listening audience and a little bit to each other along the way and say, we both love both pie and cake. If either one of us is given any of these we're talking about, it sounds like I hate pie and you hate cake. That's not true at all.
You can tell by looking at me, I ain't turned down no cake.
And I have never once turned down a pie. So I think we need to get that out of the way first. But like,
we had to choose sides. I chose the right side of pie is better than cake.
And
also, here's fun fact: there are 2 national pie days. Plus, there is Pie Day, as in 3.14. You fill out the rest on March 14th. So there are 3 days where Americans really celebrate pie. Plus the Thanksgiving holiday of we're going to celebrate pie on that day too.
But they didn't write the song "Pie by the Ocean." They called it "Cake by the Ocean." So layered cake is the first one coming out of the
They
gate
did
for
write
me.
that song, She's My Cherry Pie.
So that's true. It's just so versatile. And we talked about that you think there are more flavors of pie out there. Layered cake coming out of the gate.
No. I
disagree.
think cakes probably have more varieties than pies.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. You want to give me another pie?
Yep. We are right here in this season. And that is the pecan pie season. Pecan pie season. Do you have a preference on how to say it?
I call it pecan.
That's what I would call it too, but it really gets under a lot of people's skin when I call it pecan pie. So
It doesn't really get under my skin.
for the sake of those people today, I'm going to stick with pecan pie. And I have something
that could be a whole episode. Different ways to say words, because you got root and route, pecan, pecan,
Yes.
pop, soda, Coke.
This is also from no, it's not. This is from Instacart. They did some research on breaking down the most popular pies in every state according to purchases.
Okay.
Now, if you just had to guess what the most popular pie in the country was, according to flavor, what would you say?
Apple.
Yeah. So apple is the most popular pie flavor in the U.S. with over 27% of pie sales on Instacart's platform. But they decided to look at each state and see what they're buying the most of compared to the national average. And what I found, and this didn't set well with me, okay?
Really?
If you thought of Georgia,
Yeah.
what
Georgia on my mind right now.
What pie would you say is the most popular pie in Georgia?
I mean, you want to say a peach, but I don't think I've ever had a peach pie.
Well, I love some peach pie.
I've had probably peach cobbler, but I'm going to assume apple.
Okay, it's not apple.
Okay.
It's not apple. If you guessed it was peach pie, 2 states in the union do prefer peach pie as their top pie. Georgia's not one of those states.
Really?
What's the second thing that Georgia is known for?
Coca-Cola?
No. Pecans.
Okay.
There's a lot of pecans grown in the state.
Yeah.
So you might think that pecan pie would be their favorite pie, but it's not.
Okay. Would you tell me what their favorite pie is?
Sweet potato pie.
Oh. I mean, that also makes sense.
Sweet potato pie. It really drives me nuts, though. They're the only state in the nation that chose sweet potato pie.
Really?
Yeah, it's not on any of the other states' list.
You know what? I'm going to be honest. I don't know that I've ever had sweet potato pie. I always have it in casserole form.
Every time I have it, I'm like, what's the difference in this and pumpkin pie? So I want to talk just about the holiday pies, and that's pecan pie, pumpkin pie, sweet potato pie.
Okay.
We gather around those. You said that cake brings us together.
Yes.
What brings us together around the Thanksgiving table after the meal is always pie.
Never once. Because by the time we get to dessert, we're dispersed.
Whatever.
We're spread out, man.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm using
Hyperbole?
yes.
That's probably not right. I don't know. Okay, I mean, I get what you're saying. Yes, I mean, pumpkin pie synonymous with the Thanksgiving holidays. Pecan pie. What was the other? Apple.
I should have put apple in there. I didn't.
Yeah. I did have some good apple pie the other night with some ice cream.
I think the holiday season and their giving of pies.
But do you think that's the reason you lean toward pie is because of the nostalgia of the holiday season? Do you think that's part of it for you? Because cake, you have cake year round. I'll give you that. The holiday, especially Thanksgiving, it's all about the pies. Now, Christmas, my family would usually do like a coconut cake. My grandma would always do that, I believe, and my mom's done that before too. Of course, Christmas is all about like the candies and the smaller treats and things like that. Cookies. Christmas is a cookie holiday.
Yes, Christmas cookies.
Yeah.
But for holidays, I think pies get the advantage.
For holidays, I would agree with that. Like I said last time, I don't disagree that it's not a holiday, that pies aren't holiday focused. I don't disagree with that at all. I would agree with that completely. But I don't think that discredits cake.
Okay, last week at Thanksgiving, on your table,
yeah,
how disappointed were you when you showed up and there were multiple pie offerings and no cake offerings? You don't even think about cake. It's not like, oh man, I wish there would have been a cake out here today.
I always kind of wish there was a cake, just because I'm not as much of a pie person. Like, if I can tell you this, okay,
I want to diagnose a problem here.
Okay,
and that is, you hate casseroles.
I don't. Yeah, I'm not a big casserole person
and
either.
Pies are pretty much like a casserole.
Yeah. No, I've said that before. Like, I'm not a cobbler. Again, I have no problem with them. But like cobblers and pies and stuff like that, I'm just not as into. Casseroles, same way. Like,
okay, what is it? Fruit pies? Do custard pies and things? Obviously, peanut butter pie is your favorite.
Custard pies, I will take all the time over a fruit pie, and I think it is just that texture. It's the slime. This is the wrong word to use, and I know you're going to get mad at me for using it, but the slimier texture,
it's gooey.
The gooiness of just this. Like, I was never a big fan growing up, in school and stuff, when they would have Jell-O with the real fruit in it. Just that weirded me out, having that gooey texture with these bits of real something else in there. It's just a texture thing for me, 100%. Like, it is because a pumpkin pie, love it. Key lime pie, love it. Peanut butter pie, love it. So obviously these custard pie, a butter pie, love it. Like custard pie, those kinds of things for sure. I'm going to be more of a fan of. Keep that in mind when you're bracketing it out if you want them to have a chance.
I am. Okay, so before I turn it back to you, I will say,
this does feel like a debate where we're giving each other the time.
You get the floor, I get the floor, you get it. Back and forth. I'm not a huge pumpkin pie fan. I try it every year.
Yeah, you've mentioned that.
We do have a special pumpkin pie that we make that I think is pretty good. It's a brown buttered pumpkin pie. It's as far as pumpkin pies go, it's the best one I've eaten. I did consume some of it this year, and it's okay. But pecan pie, for me, tops the holiday pie list.
When I was a kid, my dessert of choice was always a pecan pie. As I've gotten older, though, pecan it's not low on my list, but it's not nearly as high as it used to be. I would probably, if I was given, hey, you have a pumpkin pie and a pecan pie, choose one, I'm probably going to lean pumpkin. And that's I guess that's just my taste changing. I don't understand it, but whatever.
What say you? Pumpkin pie?
Yeah, let us know.
Pie.
Okay, so you mentioned states by pie, and so it got me. I didn't look that up, but I'm going to look it up now, and I don't know if you've been peeking at my screen.
No, I have not.
But I'm going to. This one article I found. It's the most recent one I got to very quickly. But can you tell me, what cake do you think is the most popular in all the states? So I'm going states also. I can tell you this, has a whopping 10 states that claim this cake is their favorite cake.
Chocolate cake.
Incorrect, sir. It is actually...
Strawberry shortcake.
No, but strawberry cake comes in second with 7 states.
Is it just birthday cake?
Nope. It is ice cream cake.
Okay, time out.
Ice cream cake. Arizona, Illinois, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, Nevada, New Jersey, Oregon, Pennsylvania, and Washington all claim ice cream cake is their favorite cake.
Time out. Let's talk about ice cream.
You're not claiming ice cream cake as a pie.
Ice cream? No, I'm not.
Okay, good.
I'm saying ice cream cake is not a cake.
What is it then?
It's ice cream. That's what it is.
It's cake. It is a layered cake.
When you go to the store,
okay, hold on.
No. When you go to the store, this has happened. I have been so let down because in the last 2 or 3 years, I was like, "Ooh, I would really like to have an ice cream cake for my birthday," and I have never been so disappointed in my life as in the last few years.
Why don't you just get a pie for your birthday?
The ice cream cake that I have been given has no cake in it.
Well, you're getting the wrong kind of ice cream cake then.
No, go to Walmart and open up the
freezer.
Yeah, the freezer, and look in it. Read the labels. It's just ice cream in a square.
Okay, a good ice cream cake, a real ice cream cake, should be a bottom layer of cake, middle layer of ice cream, and then the top layer also cake with ice cream covering it.
I agree. That has not been what I have been given.
Ice cream cake.
What I have been given is just ice cream.
I think you need to complain to the people giving that to you, and the people who make it then hate on the actual cake. Because if you go to a Baskin Robbins or a Dairy Queen, who are probably the most known for making those things, that's what you're going to get. Ice cream cake can be delicious. Okay, now there's a time limit on how fast you got to eat it, but it is great. Ice cream cake, again, the same thing I mentioned with layered cakes. Ice cream cakes can be done in a variety of ways. A lot of different flavors mixing and matching, melding together to create it's as many combinations as you want to make it. Just like Sonic has drinks, that's what you can come up with.
Okay. This is one
that is not ice cream cake.
This is one. Look at it. It's Reese's peanut butter ice cream cake. That's what it's called. This is what I.
That is not an ice cream cake. That is a frozen treat.
That is just
dessert.
Ice cream with peanut butter cups in the middle of it.
That is not an ice cream cake. Yeah, I agree with you on that. I don't know why they're labeling that, because that is not an ice cream cake. It has to have cake in it to be an ice cream cake.
This one looks. This is kind of the
Carvel. Yeah, they're known for ice cream cakes, and that bottom layer is cake.
That looks like chocolate ice cream there. I think it just has this little center layer.
It should be flipped. It should be inversed.
I think that there is probably well above 60% of that as ice cream.
And if we can be real for a second, they're probably trying to do that to be cheap.
They're cheaping out.
They're cheaping out, and that's a travesty, because real ice cream cake is delicious and needs to be celebrated. Obviously, people like it, but again, that's not a cake. It's just not. Let me talk about ice cream cake, though, for a second.
Okay.
Ice cream cake, very popular in North America and Australia. Not very common in Europe, though. Food historians believe that ice cream cakes were invented in the... Okay, this is trivia time with Craig now. When do you think they were created?
Ice cream cakes?
Ice cream cake.
Oh, that's a relatively new thing.
Okay.
People weren't doing ice cream cakes until like the 1970s.
Okay. The first recipe is about 100 years before that.
What?
Recipes for ice cream cakes have been found in the 1870s, and ice cream cake is believed to be traced back to the 1600s. Yes. So that tells you ice cream cake's been around for a while. I will say this, it's probably been more popularized since the probably earlier than the 1970s, but since you've been able to have refrigerator and freezers. But ice cream cake is great. Do you want to take a crack at what Arkansas's favorite cake is?
I'm going to say strawberry cake.
You are correct. That is the second most popular. Arkansas, Georgia, Kansas, Kentucky, New Hampshire, North Carolina, and Tennessee. So there's a lot of states that just claim one, and then a lot of states that share some different cakes. But I don't know how many cakes or pies you've got to know how many times to go back and forth. How many do you have here? Because I know there are more variations of cake, so I want to make sure we're even here.
I don't know. How about this? How about we each just list 10
Okay.
10 of each.
I like it.
And then call it.
All right.
Okay. Let me give you what I think is my, oh boy, this is arguably my favorite pie.
Okay.
Cheesecake.
It has a certain word in the title, sir. That's one of mine.
Let me ask you a question. If we could find a mediator to rule on this, are you willing to accept what they say?
No. Because just you saying that lets me know they're going to side with you. Okay, so this is the common ground. I don't know why they call it a cake, honestly.
Okay.
I just want it on my team. I want to be able to put it in the bracket later.
Do we trust Alton Brown?
Yes.
In his mind. Okay.
Yes.
Alton Brown says, let me put this to rest. Cheesecake is pie.
I know it is, but I don't want to believe it.
Cheesecake is a custard
it has
pie.
cake in it.
So here is what I read according to dictionary.com. It has cheese, butter, vanilla, graham cracker crust. There's a key. It has a crust, number one.
That's true.
That's something we know a pie has to have.
I was really hoping to sneak this in without you making a big hoorah about it.
It says that it's
better.
also similar to a pie in that it has a custard filling.
Yes, I know.
And it lacks some of the basic ingredients that make a cake, like flour, for example, baking powder. So I think this sits in my camp in pie. Okay, very good. Did you know there is a restaurant chain, very well known, that does cheesecakes?
I've heard of one that almost produces it like a factory.
Yes, they do. And they have as many varieties as you can think of.
Yeah.
Sonic drink combinations, they have that many cheesecakes in the cooler.
Yeah, I was about, when you said that, I was like, man, that might, just Cheesecake Factory alone could tackle the same amount of variations that a layered cake.
Yeah, I think so. So when I said that pie didn't have as many varieties, I had forgotten about the Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah.
Because they have too many varieties, actually. Some of them are not very good.
No.
But cheesecake, I think is again, you could argue it's the best of the pies.
Yeah. And that unfortunately I think is what's going to be my undoing in the bracket. Because it's not going to surprise me at all to see that thing sail through.
So, where does cheesecake rank in your love list?
It's a top 3 for sure.
Along with peanut butter pie.
Yeah.
Why are we having this conversation?
Well, when it comes to pie, they're in my top 3.
Is there a cake that outranks them?
Okay, my next cake. I'm going to list off a couple here and just kind of, a couple of these are a little bit rapid fire. Some of these are layer cakes also. I do need to say, okay, you've been hitting me with some heavy hitters here. I want to come back with you with the heavy hitter of one that I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of, but I have a feeling you have to be. That is one funfetti cake.
Oh,
it's got sprinkles
it has
in
the
the
sprinkles
cake.
in it. Yes.
Okay, funfetti originally created in 1989 by the Pillsbury Company.
It is. I easily am 35% happier eating a funfetti cake than just a cake without that in there.
You are such a child sometimes.
I love
Why
it.
do you like the sprinkles so much?
I love sprinkles. They bring fun to it. It's right in the name.
So funfetti can be a layer cake also. Another one that I really, really like, and for some reason my mom for a long time thought I didn't like it. Maybe I didn't like it as a kid because of the name. Carrot cake. How are you on carrot cake?
Okay. That would be the one thing I think that could potentially bring me over to the cake side over pie.
Carrot cake is great.
I love carrot cake. We did a homemade carrot cake this last year that was absolutely knock your socks off good.
Oh, wow.
And if I'm going to order cake at a restaurant, I'm going to order carrot cake.
Yeah?
I love carrot cake.
Which kind of frosting do you like?
I want cream cheese frosting.
It's got to be cream cheese frosting.
I want that tang in there.
Originated in, looks like Switzerland. So, and one of the most popular to this day cakes in Switzerland, used for birthday parties for them, for children. Revived in the UK during the Second World War because of rations. Explosion of popularity in carrot cake, iced spice cake, and it does have carrots in it.
Yeah.
Which is incredible.
Yeah. We grated a ton of them when we put it in ours.
And really blew up in popularity in the 1970s because of the dieting craze. Just having the word carrot in it. It's really not that healthy, people.
Oh, no, it is not.
But it has the word carrot in it, so people think, okay, it's healthy. I can eat it.
This is controversial when it comes to the carrot cake. Raisins or no raisins?
I'm not a big raisin fan. So if I have the preference, I'm not going to have it in there.
The ones that I have tried, which I love raisins, and the ones that I've had with and without it, I feel like the cake is significantly better with the raisins.
Really?
Yeah.
Why? Does it give it extra tartness or sweetness, or what is it?
The texture, I like the extra chew that it gives. The extra little pop of sweetness, especially if you throw some golden raisins in there.
Oh, yeah.
And when you treat your raisins right, that's a key.
Are you singing to them, or
you plump your raisins? I let them.
Don't want to know what you do with them.
I
plump your raisins.
I let them steep in some boiling water for 10, 15 minutes.
Okay.
And it rehydrates them. And you get these little juicy pops.
Okay. Fun fact about carrot cake. The largest carrot cake recorded weighed
35 pounds.
Nope. 4,574 pounds.
I pulled a Craig.
Achieved in a German bakery. In British Columbia. By Saint Germain Bakery. I read that as German. In Canada on November 8th, 2016. It included raisins, coconut, pineapple, and over 1,000 pounds of shredded carrots.
Wow.
So lots of stuff going in it. Let me see if there's one other one I want to lump in here. Oh, just real quick. I don't have any fun facts about this, but pineapple upside down cake, while we're talking about fruity cakes.
The second or third best cake that exists.
Which makes sense for you, because that probably leans to pie. It's very moist usually.
I love a moist
Incredibly
cake.
moist. It's got the fruit. It's got the cherry on every slice, it feels
like. You have
like.
that caramelized pineapple and just sort of all the special things that happen with that crust.
Okay, back to you.
Key lime pie.
Oh, gosh.
And lemon meringue pie.
I don't care about that. That's the worst.
Well, they go together because they are citrus.
Yeah, that's true.
And I love a citrus pie.
Mm-hmm.
I like my lemon meringue pie without the meringue.
Yeah.
I like just a lemon pie. And I think I now like key lime pie even better.
Oh, it's definitely better.
Those, I think, are hard-hitting citrus pies. And here's a fun fact, popular, if you want to know about states that like it. 2 states, lemon meringue pie is the best-selling state in Delaware and Alaska.
Really?
Yep. And
key lime's got to be Florida.
Key lime
has to be.
Is the best-selling in 3 states.
Florida, South Carolina, and Alabama. No, not Alabama. North Carolina.
Okay. It is the best-selling pie in Florida.
Yeah.
South Carolina.
Yeah.
Alabama.
Oh.
You had it.
I had it.
You had it.
I thought Alabama would go more like Georgia, kind of, some kind of an apple-y,
Did
peachy.
you see recently on Good Mythical Morning their comparison when they tried the key lime pie from Margaritaville and some other restaurant? It was a food feud.
If I did, I don't remember it.
You would think, though, that Jimmy Buffett's place would have a good...
Don't get me started on Margaritaville.
They said it was one of the worst pies they've ever had.
I'm going to come in with a hot take. Margaritaville, don't ever go there.
Have you been?
I have been to a Margaritaville in Florida.
What you're saying lines up with what they said.
Do not go there. The food is terrible. The atmosphere was not good.
It seemed overpriced what they were getting too.
Super overpriced. Yeah, avoid Margaritaville. I don't care how big of a parrot head you are. I'm sure there's some resort somewhere that's great, but all the chain margarita, no, just avoid it. Don't even worry about it.
Because I would have thought that it's hard to mess up a key lime pie.
I would too.
But according to their take, it was just like not even worth eating.
I believe it. I didn't have the key lime pie when we went there because I was so disappointed with the meal that I was like, dessert can't be any better. So sorry if you love Margaritaville and you're listening or watching to this, and maybe one day Jimmy Buffett comes and says, hey, we want to give you $1 million and sponsor your podcast, I will sing the praises, but just know right now, early on, that if I do it, I'm in it for the money, okay?
I had a key lime pie a couple of weeks ago, and I can't think of the brand. It looked like a smaller-based company, though.
Yeah.
And their crust was Madagascar vanilla wafers.
Ooh, that's good.
And it was special. It was a great key lime pie.
One of the best key lime pies I have ever had is right here in the great state of Arkansas.
Whoa.
Yeah, I know. I've had great ones in Florida too, but one of the best ones I ever had was at a restaurant in Little Rock, and the custard on it was creamy. You know, sometimes you can get custards that are a little bit more stiff, and they're not dry, but you kind of know what I mean when I'm talking stiff. This was just decadent and creamy. The whipped cream on top was incredible. The crust was very crumbly. It wasn't graham cracker, but it wasn't pie. It was almost like what you talked about, like that kind of. But it was just delicious. So again, we've talked that cheesecake, peanut butter, and key lime. Man, those are three things that you've hit on the three pies. There's only three in the world that I would probably take over a cake, and you hit all three of them. So kudos. My turn.
Yep.
All right. I'm gonna get to the
crux of the matter.
Yeah, the middle of my batting order
this is
here.
The meat.
And just talk about bundt cake, pound cake, and angel food cakes. Okay, they're all very similar, different ratios, different stuff like that. Bundt cakes, again, all of these, every cake we're talking about here can be different flavors incorporated. You got like a bundt cake can have like a rum, pecan, something like that with lots of good glazes over it. Bundt cake.
I like a sakatumi cake.
Yeah. Bundt cake is named that way because of how the pan is designed. Mm-hmm. So it's round and got usually ridges in it. And because of that, they come out very thick and moist without a lot of expansion going on. Pound cake is how it's made.
Lots of butter.
Yeah, so it's a 1-to-1 ratio. Yep. Originally done with a pound of flour, pound of butter, pound of eggs, and pound of sugar. Created in the 1700s by the British. They call it a sponge. Sponge cake. Just sponge. Angel food cake.
Trash.
You don't like angel food cake?
As far as cakes go, it's the trash of cake.
You're just sitting there waiting on me to get back to angel food, weren't you?
I didn't know if you were going there or not, but I think it's the trash of cake.
Really?
It reminds me, especially if you get a store-bought one, it reminds me of sort of eating styrofoam. I think they're bad.
I like a styrofoam.
I think Erica made Lauren an angel food cake for her birthday a couple of years ago.
I think so, yeah.
And it was pretty good.
Yeah.
But as far as cake goes, it's got to be my least favorite cake.
Really?
My dad loves angel food cake.
Yeah, I do too.
And
it's light and airy.
I don't get it.
It's made with egg whites, flour and sugar, whipping agents such as maybe you don't like cream of tartar.
Maybe.
It's often added to kind of help give it some airiness. It uses no butter.
Yeah.
No butter.
Very light. If you're looking for a healthy cake, it's got to be one of the healthier cakes.
It is very healthy, and that's why Lauren likes it. I have been on a low calorie diet for the last month or two, and every time I'm ordering somewhere or figuring out what to get, she's like, "Well, let me tell you what I get. How many calories it has? Oh, surprise! It's low calorie." She just likes low calorie stuff naturally. I wish I could do that. I can't do it because everything I want is like over 1,000 calories.
Yeah.
And then the last one I want to mention in this section is gooey butter cake.
Ooh, now there I like that.
That is so good.
It's not low-cal.
No, not at all.
Am I right in saying that gooey butter cake is a St. Louis invention?
You are correct, sir. In the
Useless
1930s by a German-American baker who was trying to make a regular cake batter but reversed the proportions of butter and flour. And so apparently John Hoffman was the owner of the bakery when the mistake was made. So it was made by mistake. So he just reversed it. It's good. That is kind of close to a custard.
Yeah, it's
as far as cakes go, it's as close to a custard as you're probably going to get.
Well, I disagree. There's one. I don't know if you have it listed.
I don't know.
Should I just say it?
Go for it.
Okay. Because it's probably not on your list. It's on some of my lists that I see, and it's sort of like cheesecake. It doesn't belong in this list.
Really?
Cheesecake doesn't belong on the cake list. It belongs on the pie side. And on the pie side, you have Boston cream pie, which is absolutely not pie.
It is not a pie, no.
Boston cream pie is made with vanilla sponge cake.
Yeah.
And it has a custard layer in it.
Yeah.
It is not a pie.
No.
It goes to your side of cake.
It does.
Cheesecake
I don't even
and
know
Boston
if I would
cream
call
pie.
it a pie, because when you're saying that, I'm thinking of stuff like tiramisu. That's not a cake either. I think there's another category in there of desserts.
Preppy Chef, he's a guy I like to follow on YouTube. He says it is absolutely a cake.
Really?
Because look at it.
Yeah,
It is
okay,
it is
yeah.
a sponge cake.
I guess I think of it oftentimes in like a roll or something. I've seen a lot of Boston cream pies as rolls.
Yes.
Or not served that way, but like almost like an eclair in that kind of style, So I guess I get that.
So that one, as far as custard goes, it's going to be, I think, the reason why some people may call it a pie. But just like cheesecake doesn't have enough ingredients to be on the cake side,
Add it to my side.
Boston cream pie doesn't have enough. And I like a Boston cream pie.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty good. Okay. Talking about actual pies, the ones I would like to add are berry pies.
Okay.
I'm a fan of berry pies.
Yeah, I like berry pies.
My favorite being strawberry pie.
It's probably my least favorite of the berry pie.
What is wrong with you?
A lot.
We have some of the best strawberries you can get anywhere. To me, it is what signals spring is here. When we go to the berry farm and get our fresh strawberries and we make our homemade strawberry pie, it is bursting with springtime goodness.
It's bursting.
It is the quintessential flavor of spring.
Okay.
Strawberry pie.
I don't not like it, but like if we're talking about all the different berry pies, it's not as high up for me.
I only eat it once, twice a year, and it's in like a 3-week period of time in April.
Yeah.
Somewhere between April and May, while the berries are really coming off good. We're going to have it. And so, again, since it's only one of those pies I'm going to eat a couple slices of once or twice a year, it goes way up the list. Blueberry pie.
I like a blueberry pie.
Blueberry pie, to me, is the taste of summer.
Okay.
I think
You have
of
a lot of associations with pies.
each pie has its time and place when you eat this pie.
What's a January pie?
January pie, I love a good buttermilk pie during January.
I forgot about buttermilk pie. Those are
And
good.
if you're not familiar with buttermilk pie, it's not like the taste of buttermilk. It's a very sweet custard-based pie.
It is the cousin to the gooey butter cake.
It is. They are very, very similar.
Yeah.
Very similar.
Form factor is really the biggest difference.
So January, I think of that, and I also think of like a raspberry pie,
Okay.
where it's like sort of this combination of like raspberry, blackberry.
Which I want to say Marie Callender probably, I think, invented that.
They have that, yeah.
Yeah. I think she may have been the one to create that.
So that kind of pie to me screams wintertime.
What about cherry?
That's where I wanted to get to.
Okay.
in the fruit, which I was talking about berries, but I
guess
did
that's
want
not
to
a
talk
berry, is
about cherry pie, and that is that it is the most popular pie among states.
Really?
There are
That's
11
surprising to me.
11 states say cherry pie, according to the statistics at Instacart. People are buying cherry pie more than anything else. I wouldn't have ever thought that.
I wouldn't have either.
I really don't ever think of cherry pie.
No, but I mean, if I get presented with a cherry pie, then I didn't like it as a kid because I always associated cherries with cough syrup.
Mm.
And
Okay.
And I still do. Like maraschino cherries is just cough syrup. But I think they load cherry pie up with so much sugar and butter and all that stuff that it sweetens it up a whole lot.
I would prefer to have cherry cheesecake over cherry pie.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think cherry pie just can kind of get overwhelming, and especially if you're just using the canned cherry pie filling, it's just kind of sweet and gloopy.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Cherry cheesecake, you put some of that cherry pie filling on top of like a New York style cheesecake, and you just get a hint of that with it.
Yeah,
that's where I think that you're going the right direction.
Going back to your berries, you didn't mention raspberry, but I would kind of include that with just raspberry.
Yes,
you don't hear about any raspberry pies.
I have never seen just a raspberry pie. Maybe they're out there. I've never seen one. I do see blackberry pie, but again, I like some other berries in there to offset just the blackberry.
Something else I've never heard of, and I don't know. You're more obviously a pie guy than I am. What about a grape pie? Like if you did a grape jam or something. I've never heard of that. I've never had it.
You tell me how many things with grapes you see in general.
Yeah.
So this is not a pie, but there is a cake, an Italian cake that has lots of olive oil in it. It's like an olive oil cake with roasted grapes in there. I have seen several people do this, and it's one of the only times I've ever seen grapes actually used in a dish other than like chicken salad.
Interesting. By the way, something I just thought of when you said that, you mentioned earlier, there's no savory cakes. I would say cornbread is would be the closest thing to a savory cake. Think of the way it's prepared. Think of the way it's served, especially in the South. Most times, round cake pans. I'm just throwing it out there. We don't have to get into it. Just throwing it out there.
I won't gripe.
Okay. This is the last few I've got here because I just don't have a lot on all of these. So I'm just going to kind of rapid fire a little bit. Marble cake is really good. Okay, you get those usually done in the loaf pan or something like that.
Broke a tooth on a marble once.
Marble cake or marble?
Yeah, and they're marbles. You put marbles in those?
You do not.
Oh, okay.
No, it's just it's named based on the way it looks. You got vanilla and chocolate coming together, swirled up. The original marble cake was a German creation known as Kugelhof.
Yum.
And it was white cake with molasses spice cake, which I love a molasses spice. Technique, you use a lesser amount of the dark batter to the lighter batter, swirling it with gently. Along that line, you've also got coffee cake, which is just a crumb cake. So it's got a sponge or whatever topped with streusel. And it's usually cinnamon notes. Of course, I've made it clear on this podcast, I love the spice, the cinnamons, the fall spices. And there's no coffee in it, but it goes great with coffee.
You will not believe this. I was watching a video on coffee cakes recently.
Were you really?
Yes, I was. I was watching somebody make different people's recipes of coffee cakes and comparing them. And one of the things that really annoyed me in the beginning of this video was he said, this cake we're making, for some reason, this one doesn't have any coffee in it. And I'm just like yelling at him like, you idiot. Don't you know that coffee isn't supposed to go in the cake?
No.
Come to find out, the next two cakes that he made both incorporated coffee into them. But they were actual coffee cakes, not what we're talking about as...
Oh, really?
The cake that you eat with coffee.
Coffee-flavored cakes?
It was a coffee-flavored cake with frosting and all this on it. I'm like, no, dude, you're doing everything wrong. That's not a coffee cake.
That's not a coffee. Now, it could be delicious. Like, I've had chocolate espresso cakes and stuff that are delicious, but that's not a coffee cake.
That's not a coffee cake. The reason it's a coffee cake is because you're supposed to drink a cup of coffee with it.
Yeah.
It made me so frustrated to watch it because I love a coffee cake like we're talking about.
Yeah. What are you drinking with it though? Because you're not you just some milk or whatever else you got.
Milk, Coca-Cola,
yeah,
unsweet tea.
So you're not dipping your coffee cake in.
I do not dip my coffee cake.
Also want to mention cupcakes. Like, come on, cupcakes are incredible.
No,
that's a cake.
It's just a smaller
It's a small cake. It's a small cake.
Yeah, it's just a small cake, but there's still chocolate, vanilla, strawberry. It's just a smaller version of all these other things that we've already listed.
But it's worth mentioning. You got to mention cupcakes.
Well, then
cake.
I could mention tarts and galettes and little miniature, but they're all just the same variation of all these other things. They're just miniature versions.
I wondered if I get you riled up on that one. And this one, cookie cake.
That's a cookie. They're good.
Yeah, they're delicious. It's not cake though. I just wanted to see. I expected more of a reaction out of cookie cake than I did cupcake. To be honest with you. Okay, so that wraps me up for cake. I could go on and on about flavors and stuff, but I figured we just stick to form factors for now.
Let me wrap up my best. Coconut cream pie. You're a coconut hater, so you're probably not a coconut cream pie fan, I'm assuming.
I'm not a hater. It's a preference.
One I didn't mention a minute ago, I was going to mention was strawberry, and that's strawberry rhubarb.
You know, I had a rhubarb when I was a kid because I know my grandma would make it, but I haven't had that in a long time.
So the two pies that I like to eat when I go to Colorado is strawberry rhubarb pie and peach pie, because they do great peaches in Colorado as well. Those are my Colorado season pies that I like to go to. I have a pie for every season.
Yeah, apparently.
And there's big memories tied up with each of those. Mississippi mud pie.
I like Mississippi mud.
I would say it's right there with like chocolate pie.
Yeah.
And Hershey cream pie.
Yeah.
And that's where my pies end.
That's where your pies end?
The chocolate pie area.
Okay. Wow. There's a lot. And I'm still looking at stuff. I'm like, we could sit here and talk forever about everything, but we can't because of time's sake. Are we ready to get into some worst pies and cakes?
Yes.
That may be a challenge, but I know I've got a couple on my list. Let's go.
Welcome to the best things.
These aren't the best things. These are the worst things.
Let's get scratching.
I've got two worst cakes. There's only two that I could find. The first one is not necessarily the worst thing, but I just wanted I didn't know where else to put it, so I'm not the king cake.
Oh, okay.
Mardi Gras tradition,
right?
You make a king cake and you put a little toy baby in there. Mainly because I had a king cake one time, and the cake itself is okay, but I bit down on the baby. It was just not something I enjoyed.
No,
I didn't enjoy the toy in my cake. So that's one of my worst. The other one is the worst cake.
Okay.
It is definitively the worst cake.
Should I know what it is?
You should know what it is, and knowing you, you're probably going to go back and go, wait. I've made a really good version of this.
Have I eaten this?
I'm sure you have. It is known only as the fruit cake.
Oh, no.
I told you it was coming. You got to run the tape back. I told you it was going to happen.
You did. Okay.
I have never had a good fruit cake.
I totally believe that.
It's the reason it's the butt of every joke when it comes to the holiday season. It's the one cake Christmas is known for. It ends up being terrible.
Yes. My dad said yesterday, you know what? We need to order a fruitcake.
Yeah.
He loves fruitcake.
Really?
He eats the nasty, cheap ones too. You are 100% correct. You get almost any fruitcake. And it's like people are just trying to figure out, like they're scraping stuff off. Like there may be a Skittle in there and some M&Ms and maybe a screw.
I'm convinced packaged fruitcakes, they haven't made a new one since 1985.
But let me tell you about a place.
Okay.
Corsicana, Texas has a company called Collins Street Bakery. And I have been to Collins Street. They are known worldwide for their fruitcakes.
Really?
They are not cheap fruitcakes. They will cost you an arm and a leg to get one of these fruitcakes. But there is a marked difference in their fruitcake versus any other fruitcake that I've had.
Okay.
If you're a Collins Street fan out there, let us know, because I was like, okay, fruitcake is terrible. It should never be eaten until I had a Collins Street.
Okay.
And occasionally somebody will mail us a Collins Street cake. We've been to the bakery there. We've tried their stuff. And if you have one of theirs, I think that you could come around to saying, okay, there are redeeming qualities to this.
Okay. I'll have to try it, but until proven otherwise, I can't add it anywhere but the worst. Are there any worse pies?
So here is one on Ranker that's at the bottom of the list called bean pie. I don't really know what that is, and I've never heard of it, but I can understand why this sits at the bottom of the list.
Yeah, I can too.
I'm imagining it's probably like a black bean pie, which I know really is going to like do double duty on you. So I would put probably bean pie, and then just kind of the weird savory pies that are using organ meat.
Yeah.
Those are at the bottom of the list for me.
Yeah. Don't like it. Okay. Let's little extra long episode. Actually, we have no idea how long we've really gone because we lost
part of it.
So our little timer here is completely off, but let's go ahead and bracket this thing out.
If you want to be the best, you have to beat the rest. This is the Best Things Bracket.
Okie dokie. Let's see. I don't know who gets first pick. Not that it really matters, because we're not. I'm just gonna let you go first.
Okay. Peanut butter pie.
Okay. Okay. I'm
not confident.
Yeah, I can see the future. I don't like my odds. I don't think you convinced me that cake is better than pie, but I think the top of the pie...
Hang on a second. Say that again.
I don't think you've convinced me that pie is better than cake.
Okay, that's what I thought you meant to say.
Did I not say that?
You said that I did not convince you cake is better than pie, and I was not attempting to.
But...
I didn't?
No, but I think the top of the order on pie might be stronger than the top of the order on cake.
Cake is mediocre.
But I think the entire work of cake is better than the entire work of pie.
Creating a great pie takes more effort, takes more time, takes more patience, takes more love, takes more knowledge, baking your own crust. The reason that people have birthday cakes at birthday parties is because they're cheap and they're easy, and people just want to, flake out on that.
Okay, I'm going to go number one, birthday cake. Just layered cake. Pick your poison. Whatever flavor combination you want. That's my preference, probably yellow cake, chocolate frosting, if I have to be specific.
You did not even talk about strawberry shortcake other than you just kind of briefly passed it by.
I was going to, and you yelled at me about angel food. That's where I usually put strawberry shortcake. That's
why the heck would you put it there?
Because that's what how I usually do.
That's
do strawberry
not what
shortcake.
Shortcake is.
But that's usually my go-to when I'm wanting that strawberry shortcake vibe. I do it with angel food cake.
Strawberry shortcake is great, but strawberry angel food cake,
you know what? I am going to switch.
is inferior.
I'm going gooey butter.
Okay, I can respect that
as my number one. I don't have it very often. I guess that's why I didn't think of it. But it's a special little.
Give me cheesecake.
Man, I'm going to go coffee cake.
That's good. That's solid. I love a good coffee cake.
Your third?
Key lime pie. Yeah. It is clear.
Cheesecake.
Hey, let's put it on there twice.
Carrot cake.
Good choice for me. I mean, if you're going to play the game.
Okay, fourth and final for you.
Strawberry. Nah.
No.
I want pecan pie.
My fourth one. Man, this is tough.
I know what I would choose.
Yeah, and I know what you would too. And I'm trying to figure out if I want to play the game. And I do. Funfetti.
Oh, well, that's not the one I would have chosen.
What would
but,
you have chosen?
pineapple upside down cake.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I would have put that over Funfetti.
We'll do it. That's fine. I ain't mad.
There's another one I would have put above both of those.
Really?
Yeah.
What's that?
Cupcake.
It's just this miniature version.
Actually, I'm going to go Boston Cream. I'm going to lose this round anyway, so...
It's worthy to be there.
Yeah.
It's worthy to be mentioned.
I was trying to play the game, then I realized our first matchup, peanut butter
Yeah, it's
pie.
peanut butter is moving on.
Yeah, I don't think we have to do that. Peanut butter pie, obviously. Next one, gooey butter versus pecan. Gooey butter cake versus pecan pie. In 3, 2, 1, gooey butter. Hey, a cake won't get... I didn't think what cake was going to make it out of the bracket. Okay. Cheesecake versus carrot cake.
This is a tough one for me. Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Cheesecake.
Cheesecake all day long.
Have you ever had a cheesecake carrot cake?
No.
It mingles the best of both worlds.
Maybe I should request that. Have you had one?
Yeah.
You have to tell me how that's made. God.
It's a loser again.
Oh. But you talk about hitting me where it hurts. Coffee cake versus key lime. This is really hard. This is really, 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 really hard. Coffee cake and key lime. 3, 2, 1. Key lime pie. God bless America.
Yep.
Key lime over gooey. Oh gosh. Okay. Okay. Peanut butter versus cheesecake. I want us to vote.
Okay.
I'm curious. You'll get. We're not going to go 1 to 10
Yeah.
if we don't agree. You just
Sure.
get to break the tie.
Okay.
Peanut butter versus cheesecake. 3, 2, 1.
Cheesecake.
Peanut butter. That's really hard. That's really, really hard for me.
The reason I'm going cheesecake is because there's also wonderful peanut butter cheesecakes that exist.
That's true.
I think that peanut butter pie is just this one thing. Cheesecake is so many different things and so many different ways you can go with it.
And in hindsight, I gotta probably agree with you because the best peanut butter pie for me is my mama's.
It has cream cheese in it.
And there's so many other peanut butter pies that can be overly peanut buttery, not as light and airy,
Sure.
and so there's probably more cheesecakes that are better than peanut butter pies that are better. Okay, we got God bless America. We got key lime pie versus cheesecake.
And I would say key lime pie to me is very similar to cheesecake.
It is.
They're right in the same vein. They're
I've had
custards.
great key lime cheesecake too.
Yeah.
Okay. 3. Do you know? You have an answer?
I have an answer. And it's much like the last round for me.
3, 2, 1. Cheesecake. Cheesecake. Congratulations. Yeah, right there.
And I would say part of it is that the best cheesecakes that I've had are far superior to the best. I mean, key lime pies pretty much across the board are pretty good, but
Yeah.
they're all pretty standard.
Yeah.
There are really special
That's true.
cheesecakes.
You can really dress it again. It's the same thing with like a layered like most of these cakes. Like you can do you can interchange the crust, the filling, and toppings, and mix and match however you want to do it.
And I think it's fitting that in an episode where we've argued pie versus cake, that it comes down to
That's
this.
a great
It
point.
comes down to this item that calls itself a cake but identifies as a pie.
I like it. I'm happy. Yeah, I think we made the right choice.
I think so.
Okay.
And we're about to make the right choice again.
Are you sure?
No.
Be the best thing today, but is it the best thing of all time? It's time for the best thing battle.
We have a 3-time reigning champion. It overtook cookies. It overtook. What else did it overtake? What else have we done? We've done so many
it
episodes.
overtook Thanksgiving parade
And what was? Oh, and smells.
and smells.
Yeah. So now it's got to take over
Cheesecake.
cheesecake. This is,
And to me, this is the closest
this is the closest you think we'll get.
that I think that we're going to get here.
Okay.
Because, again, the best cheesecake that I've had, I might do some sketchy things for that cheesecake.
You ready to go?
Yes.
3, 2, 1.
Steak.
Steak advances. Oh man, I don't have my button pulled up.
There it is. Woo! Delayed reaction.
We're just a little off today. We don't ever do episodes this. We don't record this late.
No.
We're usually
This is-
afternoon recorders.
This is really weird for us.
So it is kind of weird recording late. Okay, 4-time champion.
One away from being in the Besties for the Resties Hall of Fame.
Which you should go cop that shirt, by the way, if you haven't already.
Ooh.
Go into
Yeah.
link in bio, link in description to go buy some merch. Okay, Aaron. I don't think you. Again, I stand by what I said.
I don't think you can. I think that I came
I
and
have-
brought the hammer down.
I have to say, as far as the Best Things podcast is concerned, pie is the best. But personally, I still think the top of the order on pie is better than the top of the order on cake. But I
Okay.
think overall cake, I still think trumps pie.
I'm going to hit you with one more fact here that really seals the deal. Big fan of fruit pies?
Not as much, no.
Bigger fan of fruit cake then?
No.
Fruit pies beat fruit cake.
Dang it. How dare you use logic? How dare you, sir? How dare you? Okay. You got anything else?
No, not today.
Okay. Well, then that'll do it for the Best Things. I'm Craig.
I'm Aaron.
We'll talk at you next time. Goodbye.
Thanks for listening to the Best Things Podcast. If you liked today's episode, subscribe and leave us a review wherever you're listening now. And remember, connect with us on the socials at Best Things Pod, and you may hear your take on an upcoming episode.